but I believe the great is still yet to come. I won't stop fighting, man.
Good morning. Welcome to the 57th Breakfast Ball. I was going to say 56 like Lawrence Taylor, but then I realized it's 57, so that kind of killed him. I should have said Lawrence Taylor last week. But anyway, Giants are terrible this year. Anyway, my name...
Good observation.
Yeah, they are. They're bad. And they're now third draft. Oh, let's see if they can get a quarterback. But back
Only a this year thing.
Yeah, let's
Sorry.
hope. Let's
Sorry.
hope. Well, okay, Cowboy fan. Okay. Anyway, I am your host, Bob Cardia. And to my left, to your right, as always, the dashing...
Cowboys fan Richie Stoltz.
Yeah, folks, just... okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
baby.
this is
Go
supposed to
boys.
be a motivational slash,
It is.
Yes, well, I guess hope springs eternal for the Cowboys and the Giants. Anyway. Anyway, so we're talking about how to become more consistent. And yeah, I know. Well, we don't work for the Cowboys or Giants, by the way. We don't work for them. Like, the head golf coach at Rutgers University at Camden, Richie's my assistant. We've had a lot of consistency there, just not our sports teams. Although the Knicks and Yankees not bad this year, though, right? Okay.
There you go.
All right.
There you go.
Anyway, with that said, so it is today how to be more consistent or how to be more disciplined. Because the conversation you and I had a few short weeks back is, would you rather be motivated or disciplined? And we discovered, we said what?
Disciplined.
Yeah.
Disciplined. For sure.
Yeah, because I agree with what Joe Rogan said, and I don't like to drop F-bombs, but he said basically he'd be a fat F if he waited to be motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And it's true. I if you wait for motivation, of the days, and I was just telling Richie, I'm now 24. Today's the 24th of January. I'm now 24 for 24 and working out. Got up early this morning, worked out. Matter of fact, Richie had to wait a few minutes for me to finish my last couple sets today. Yeah, it's a part of what I do now, and I'm very disciplined with it. But like, if I waited to feel like it, I'll tell you what. When I got up this morning, in this cold weather, for those of you in the Northeast, what was a high of 6 degrees the other day?
It's terrible.
I got up, and my knees this morning were just, they weren't feeling it. And then my treadmill that I have up in the room is small. So, like, you're tired, you're out of it, and you miss a step, and, like, you almost break your neck doing it. But, if I didn't get it done this morning, I'm not going to get it done. So I did it. So that's more discipline than it is motivation. So I don't know if I discussed this with you, because prayers out, by the way, to for anybody out there, to my mother who is struggling right now, having a hard time. So when I was visiting with her yesterday, I spent a lot of time trying to maximize the time in between speaking with her, is studying. And I saw this guy. I never saw the guy before in my life. I watched about almost all his video. And he talked about this study, radish versus cookies. All right? So basically what they did is they took sweets, like freshly baked sweets, cookies, and they put them, at one end of the table. And they put like healthy food like radishes at the other end of the table. And they told people that came in, they did control test groups and that kind of stuff. One group had to come in and they could eat whatever they wanted. Okay. And then they brought another group in and said, you have to eat the healthy side. You have to eat basically the radish. Okay. And then once that test was completed, once that eating was completed, they had to go take a puzzle, like a Rubik's Cube type thing. And you know what they found?
What'd they find?
They found that, I'm telling you, the people that could eat whatever they wanted had a higher success rate. Not that they finished the Rubik's Cube, but the people that ate the radish, they gave up quickly. And what the study basically showed is willpower is a limited resource. So, when you watch these videos of these guys that are like Goggins, who I love Goggins. I mean, but he's like, you got to power through it, you got to muscle through it, yeah, that's true somewhat. But you know what? If you look at the most successful people in the world, a lot of them put themselves out of harm's way. Like, they wear the same basic clothes every day, same type of t-shirt or same t-shirt, and they eat the same foods every day. right? Because they're putting themselves in a position not to be tempted and not to use up their willpower. Thus, allows them to be more disciplined. So you were talking about that. We talked before the show.
Yeah, I saw that a while ago, and I think it was Steve Jobs, right?
Right, it was
Steve
Jobs, yeah, I think the T-shirt.
Who wore the same T-shirt every single day. I was like, that's pretty cool. You know, I kind of do that same thing. Like I wear the same clothes every day. Like
Ooh,
I don't,
yeah, he
I don't
does.
really. I do wash them. Don't worry. Just to say, like, I wear gray golf pants every day. All right, I never change the color of the golf pants for the most part. Very rarely do I do it. And when I do, I actually have like a set shirt to go with the other pairs of like. I wear the same thing almost every day. I wear the same sweatshirt when it's cold outside. I wear the same jacket when it's cold outside. I don't change the way I dress, and I thought it was cool because I was like, I do the same thing Steve Jobs does. I must be rich, and Bob pointed out very intelligently.
He's the
I am
dashing rich Stoltz.
I am rich apparently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I was like, it's pretty cool. Like I do the same thing he does. I should be making a lot more money like he does. And I thought about it for a little bit, and I came to the assumption that, the reason he does it is because he doesn't want to, and he said this, he doesn't want to think about what he has to wear that day.
Right.
I have that same mindset.
Yep.
I don't want to think about what I have to wear that day. I go in my closet, I grab a shirt that I know goes with these pants, and I run out the door. I'm out. And I don't think about really what I'm wearing. And, for me, I thought about this another way, too, is when I cook.
Mm-hmm.
I cook like for myself. If I'm cooking for someone else, I can actually put together a pretty good dish.
Yep.
But if I'm cooking for myself, it's as basic as it is,
Yep.
as it can be, to the point where I don't even season things.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I don't even feel like thinking about it. I do a lot of things just to the basics that I don't need to think about because I don't feel like using that strength, that thought process on something that means almost nothing.
Yeah.
The food I eat, the eggs I eat in the morning, I don't need to add seasoning to my scrambled eggs. It doesn't matter.
No, I don't.
It doesn't.
I
It
don't
doesn't
either, to
make
be
any
honest with you.
difference to me.
I just butter the pan and then go. I don't.
Yeah, and all that stuff I do, it just makes me think of that as, when I start adding stuff to everything I do, well, that starts to take away from everything else I'm going to do at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's all I got.
No, hey, but that's great though, and that's like you have to understand is, in order to be disciplined, you need to set yourself up for discipline. You can't live like Denzel Washington's, I guess, wife said to him, if you want something you never had, you got to be prepared to do something you've never done. And if you could set yourself up with some basic, patterns that eliminate, like, they talk about, the same guy, I can't remember his name, so if you ever watch this video, guy who I watched your video, it's, eliminate temptation is another way. And he talks about for, the vast majority of the people, three things actually, now that I think about it. Scrolling, your TikToks, your Reels, people spend hours scrolling. 2, video games, and I know from coaching at the college level, I had at least 2 players I could think of off the top of my head that their friends said they were addicted to video games. And then I guess pornography, that's the third thing. And if you could somehow like eliminate those things, or put put the computer in a drawer, or just give the video game to your younger brother or sister, and like only play it when you go over their house. Do stuff like that, put the phone in a certain mode. I don't know how, my tech skills aren't that great, but that helps you. Now, the other thing, which, again, same video, so cheers to whatever your name was, I forget. But he talked about another study where they took 205 people, okay, and like throughout the day, they sent them texts or messages on their phone or BlackBerry, whatever the hell it was, saying, are you motivated? Are you disciplined? What's your feelings about motivation? And it turns out the people who answered the question, I am disciplined, or I am, I'm strong-willed, guess what? They turned out to get more stuff done. When you identify as that, okay, chances are that's the way, your mind goes. And it's like I was watching a different video with Kevin Hart, and Kevin Hart was saying, you know, if you don't identify with being great, then how the flip are you ever going to be great unless you believe that you're great? So I thought, you know what, and I get it, a lot of this stuff we've heard before, but like, and we talk golf performance psychology, but like, if you want to be, you know, if you want to practice golf every morning, right, then yeah, I guess what you don't do is go out to breakfast, okay? They don't, you know, lay out the perfect golf outfit, right? Don't call your buddies. You know, don't turn on the video games. Like, get up, you know, wear the same golf, you know, type of stuff. Get out the door and go. Set yourself up for success. You know. Yeah. Anyway, I thought that was interesting stuff. So, the next thing I wanted to discuss, and I should have left the pages the way they were, but oh, you know what? You know what? That's how I was. So, do you have any specific things that you do in order to keep? I know you're talking about the clothing thing for sure.
Yeah.
But like in your practice routine, you know, or you know, whatever workout, whatever, is there something that you do specifically to keep yourself disciplined?
I'll tell you what I started doing recently is, and this is just in life in general, not necessarily just golf, but I started doing lists again.
Where'd you get that from, son? Yeah.
Lists are great, and they definitely help me stay focused throughout the day. But at the bottom of my list sheet, there's a thing for notes.
Mm-hmm.
And like I know today I'm going to be out and about all day long, so it's actually going to be really difficult for me to get all the things that I have on my list done.
Yeah.
So what I wrote on the bottom in the notes is, you know, stay focused.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that when I look at that and I see the stay focused, I'm like, oh yeah, I got to make sure I'm on track. I got to make sure I'm always on track. I got to make sure I'm doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like I got to make sure that I keep, you know, my focus on what's on that to-do list, because I do have a lot of stuff on there today.
Mm-hmm.
But that's something I do. And then in terms of golf, practice-wise, I mean, I think it's more of a discipline the way I practice now already.
Yeah.
But what I used to do is I used to be a ball beater.
Yeah.
Just kind of like
Yep.
95% of the population.
Yep.
And
Well, no. The thing is, most people don't practice. So that's great. Here's the thing. So you have probably only, I don't know, what do you think? Maybe 15, 20% of the people practice with that kind of regularity.
Mhm.
But of those 15, 20%, there is let's just say it's 15%. I would tell you 12% of those 15% are ball beaters. They just hit ball after ball after ball until they get into a rhythm. Unfortunately, you can't do that in golf. Like, you can't just hit, oh, I'm getting another tee shot, oh, I got that one good. No. So the difference is the people who actually practice.
yeah. So I over-exaggerated a bit.
Mhm.
Sorry.
No, it's
Sorry.
okay. We still love you.
But I started saying to myself, you know, make sure you practice correctly. So when I go out there and I catch myself ball beating again, I got to slow it back down.
Yeah.
I got to slow it back down. I got to go into my routine. I got to practice again. And every once in a while, I'm sitting there just hitting balls, kind of getting the body
Yeah.
moving. Like it's not really a practice session. But if I'm practicing, it is now a habit that I will give practice swings every single swing. I will go through my routine every single swing. I will, you know, go through all the steps that I would normally do on the golf course when I go and hit golf balls, and I actually put in a practice session. So that is more of a discipline for me now. It used to not be.
Mhm.
But it took a lot of self-talk and self-motivation of,
Yeah.
you know, make sure you stay disciplined while you do practice.
You know what
It's
I
tough.
found too is when you get to that discipline, it's like Goggins says, right? It's like, you know, people have done this with me before. They're like, you know, oh, you work out all the time. Like Rich Schweitzer, he came to me. He's like, do you really chart every workout since 1991? I'm like, yeah, I could show you. I get stacks of papers. I've charted every workout. And like if I look at my calendar, because I make myself a calendar with box and I write down. If I look at, I write in red, by the way, just so you know, my calendars, each workout day is written in red ink. And I look at it at the end of the month, and if it's all red, I'm like, yeah. I'm like, and if there's a couple blocks in there where there's not, I'm like, yeah. I feel a pang of guilt. I find writing stuff down helps me. And so I don't know if I do my checklist. I write things down. And if I get them done, I put a check next to it. If I don't get them done, I put an X next to it. And if there was something of value, that X item goes to the next day's list.
Mhm.
And that's what I do. How I became so disciplined about working out was those calendars, those charts, and people like Candy, for example, or any number of people say, I'm gonna do what Bob does. I'm gonna work out every day. Now, okay, I'm like, you can't beat me. It's a battle of wills, and I'm gonna win. Like, if you can work out over 340 times a year, okay, maybe you can beat me. But like, I don't, and I am a competitive SOB, and B, I don't consider working out optional.
Mhm.
Like if you truly want to stay and not be as Rogan says a fat F, because my diet still needs work, but like I work out. So
Can
good.
I? Can
Go
I?
ahead. Please.
I'm gonna add something to this. In terms of charting things, and I've never seen any study on charting workouts or practice routines or anything like that.
Yeah.
But, and I'm sure there's one out there.
The Layer has some.
Yeah.
It's not what I do, but some version of it.
Yeah, but this is something that just made me think of that. Is back when COVID happened, the terrible COVID, me and Pat DeMario actually had a competition
Mhm.
on who can hit the most putts in a month.
Mm-hmm.
All right, do you know how many putts we hit in a month?
10,000.
10,000.
Oh, there you go.
We hit just over 10,000 putts.
Mm-hmm.
It was honestly, I thought it was crazy to hit, each of us right around 5,000.
Let me just hop in real
Yeah.
quick. At the conference championship, Patty one putted like 6 times, or he's like 9 under through 10 holes or something like that. And the kid in the team, I heard him talking. That kid makes sure he's looking at it. He said, nobody's that lucky. I'm thinking, you hit that many putts. That's how you get lucky.
It was interesting how many putts we hit, and what we had to do is we had to keep track of how many putts we hit. So what I noticed was when I would hit these putts, the first day I maybe hit 50 putts,
Mhm.
and then I go back in my room and I had it on a dry erase board. I bought a dry erase board for it, so I had 50
Cool.
putts on a dry erase board, and then the next day I look at that and I'm like, oh yeah, I gotta hit my putts.
Yeah.
So I hit 50 putts again, and then eventually I'm sitting there going, if I'm gonna beat him, I gotta hit more putts.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at these numbers, like, okay, I'm gonna hit 100 putts. I'm gonna double this number. And when I see those numbers on there on a dry erase board sitting there, front and center in my room, it's like, that gives
Yeah.
me motivation to hit more.
Yeah.
Now I'm at 2,000 putts. Well, I want to hit 3,000,
Mhm.
and the only way I'm gonna hit 3,000 if I hit more putts. And it was almost like a little, semi motivator for me
I
to
got
be
it.
able to see those numbers there and go, ooh, I got to do it again. Ooh, I got to do it again. Just like on your calendar, it looks good when you have everything in red and you're like, let's go, that's great.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny too is if you ever anybody's ever sees my room that I sleep in, I have dumbbells stacked. It's a pretty large room from one end to the other end, starting at 5 pounds, going up to 45 pounds. I have basically a padded mat that they're all lined up across the floor. So when I get up in the morning and there's a step in there, and I actually have 2 rooms. I have a treadmill in there, and then the back room I have the bench and the lap bar. Like, you can't get up in my house in the morning and go take a shower, hit the restroom without walking by the exercise equipment, which it's like the dog that's crying when you walk by. Like, shit, okay, I gotta get that done. Yeah. So yeah. Technique, because I asked you for a technique. Here's another scientific proven technique on how to be a little bit more disciplined, and it's all about setting yourself up to be disciplined. But they took smokers, people who smoke cigarettes, and they divided them into 2 groups, and they said, okay, the first group, when someone asks you, would you like a smoke, you're supposed to say, well, no thank you, I'm trying to quit, which again sounds like a perfectly reasonable response. And then they took the other group and said, when someone asks you if you want to smoke, say, no, I'm not a smoker. And, obviously I'm telling the story, folks. Who did better? The people who say, no, I'm not a smoker. Yeah. Change your identity. I watched another video of Kevin Hart. I love Kevin Hart because Kevin Hart was a screw up when he was young. He said that, you got to change your identity. Believe you're the greatest. Believe you're the best. Because if you don't, then you're just pretending.
Yeah.
Like, and and it's a fake it till you make it. But if you can sit there and say identify as I'm the greatest or I'm the best, that helps. It really does. So, just things we're talking about. So thought process. I'm also reading a book by Eckhart Tolle right now, The Power of Now. I'm halfway through it. I don't know how the flip I keep reading these books that are heavy, but that book, because you and I talk about being in the present. Man, the present, like he defines the present as like basically, time doesn't exist, or you don't really have problems. By the way, yeah. What do you mean? Well, most people's problems are past problems. Let's say there's a past, so have a golf. There was relationships, and when you're feeling a certain way, that can creep into your mindset. But actually, that already happened, right? You learn from it. Use your mind to learn from it. But like right now, we're the luckiest bastards in the world, brother. We're sitting here in our palatial studio, just talking about how to stay disciplined and motivated, and and after this we have our staff meeting working on, getting to where we need to be. Like that's great. Like we should just be excited about this moment right here. And if you read all the great philosophers and even religious, that's what they talk about. Like, enjoy the moment. Because literally, the moment is all you have. If you can have a series of great moments, then you have a great future. But worrying too much about the future and dwelling too much on the past is, anyway, I'm about halfway through it, The Power of Now. Anyway, I'm babbling. Summary. So the summary is to set yourself up to be disciplined. Don't expect because Goggins says, you're going to muscle through it, man. Nothing else, man. Yeah, that's true. I mean, there are people but honestly, those people set themselves up. Dwayne The Rock Johnson gets up at 4:30 in the morning, right? He has done enough where there's no distractions at 4:30 in the morning. And the people that, I'm a morning person because I have to be, not because I want to be. Like, I get up earlier. Here's the thing with that, right? In the morning, or, I'm a night person. In morning and night, there's no distractions. Like, there's nobody bother me, from 10:30 at night to 1:30 in the morning, unless it's Richie or Mary, but that rarely happens. But, or at 4:30 in the morning, there's no distractions. During the workday, distractions. So, set yourself up to be disciplined. And as always, if you get something out of this video and you become rich and famous,
we get 10%.
We do, because as Richie's saying,
I gotta retire. I'm getting old.
He's getting old.
I gotta retire.
Yes.
This is just getting ridiculous.
I know, right? Jeez.
This is getting absolutely ridiculous.
We gotta work out more. All day. And if you are one of the people that mentions I love the breakfast ball in the comment section, and we draw you out of the hat, you will get your Starbucks gift card. Did Jeremy get his, by the way?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I give it to him.
All right. So
yeah, I'm almost positive. All right. That was the second one that he won.
Yeah, it was I gave it to you last week. Yeah.
Yeah,
So okay. All right.
Yeah.
Jeremy, and I see Toby's right there. Bob Ryan, I saw he was on the in the list. I think we have 4 or 5 people actually that either commented or sent a message.
I'm gonna start comment.
Right. I know. Right. And we could have Starbucks in the morning. No.
I know. I know.
All right, folks. Hey, have a great day. We will see. Oh, next week, by the way, Jamie Slonis is going to be a guest. He's got a lot of good things to say. So,
nice.
You've got some good guests coming up, folks. So keep watching. Have a great day. Let's go.
Glass of bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. My bourbon, ha. Alcohol is no great story ever started with